Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to sit on my bed. I just wanted it to be overall like I'm telling you as a friend, like my experiences of my own mental health growth. And I really wanted to do this video because I know there's people out there that suffer with similar things as me, and I just want to help people and for people to know more about what I've been through and like the experiences. Overall, I just wanted to document this moment in my life so I could definitely remember. If you're struggling overall with mental illness or any sort of hardships, like I would say that this is your sign to go to therapy and seek out for help if you need it. Please don't notice my pimple on my face. Thank you. So I definitely had my fair share of a tough journey when it comes to self-love and being accepting and compassionate to myself. In the past, I've always been the type of person that was harsh to myself. Like, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's said anything as harsh as I have to myself, which really says a lot. I think in the past, if you were to ask me what my self-consciousness would be to me, I feel like I would have said that I was my worst enemy. Like, I was my worst best friend. I think a lot of people can relate to that. I know it's not just me, but ooh, this is already gonna get deep. But for me, the year 2019 was a very tough year for me. I think it was one of the hardest years of my life. Definitely. I know a lot of people are struggling with dealing with what happened in 2020, and that was a difficult year, but it was a tough year, but it wasn't in comparison to 2019 for me personally, for my mental health. 2020, I was having a really good growth from that year. I had my mental health go downhill. I don't think I've ever seen my mental health go as drastic as that year was. And I've had like unfortunate events happen during that year, but I am deciding to keeping that private because I'm just not ready to share that yet. Maybe years into the future, or like a decade from now, I can share, but for right now, I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But I will say this, that my depression was at an all-time low for me. I think it was during the summer of 2019 when severe symptoms, and there's times where I didn't want to get up from my bed. It was difficult for me to motivate myself to get up. That was when I went to therapy. I'm very grateful for my mom. My mom's the one that took me to therapy, and it was specifically cognitive therapy. And it was it's been a year and a half, I think I've been through it, and I definitely see the improvements from before and then to right now. And that's what I want to share with you guys. It's definitely a process. Like, if you know, with a disorder or when you're diagnosed, definitely don't self-diagnose yourself. Just getting that out there. Like, leave that to the professionals to do. Like, you don't want to self-diagnose yourself. I could safely say that therapy has changed my life for me, has changed the way I think and how I manage my feelings and emotions. I've definitely learned what type of thinking I was doing. I learned that there's core beliefs to each and every person and what they think. So anything in their lives that they choose to do is related to their core belief. I learned for a very long time that I had a core belief, but I didn't know what it was exactly until therapy. When I was younger, I had low self-esteem at times, and I think when I was a kid, I remember things that I told myself that I shouldn't have. I learned that one of my core beliefs was that I wasn't good enough, and that it affects in everything that you do, like relationships, your relationship with yourself and your self-worth. It definitely takes a hit, and definitely my side of perfectionism kind of affected that too. If you know me, you know that I am very perfectionistic. I used to think it was a bad thing overall because I was always self-critical of myself and I just wanted to get things right. But as you know, like it doesn't always happen that way. I mean, being human overall is not perfect. I mean, there's no perfect life. But it took me a long time to how to use it to my advantage. Let's just put it that way. And another thing is that I had a very odd idea that all that mattered is my academics, and it might sound good on the surface, but it was a destructive idea because literally in anything that I did was literally for academics. Like my self-worth was in academics. Like I really couldn't see myself without academics. Okay, sorry I got distracted. Where was I? Oh yeah, right. Literally all that mattered right now is academics. Like, because like I'm a college student and I guess I don't even know. Like I've been trying to figure out like where I got that idea that it's almost like robotic. I don't know how to describe it. Like I didn't see myself as it sounds ridiculous when it's like you describe it, but get myself to think more in a humanistic way. Like am I treating people nicely? Like things outside of academics, you know what I mean? Like what I value as a human being and my hobbies. Like I just tossed that aside, which is one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel. Was because of my mental health. I wanted to get my mind off of whatever was going on, get back to getting some new hobbies. So that was one of the reasons why I started this channel, and I don't regret it one bit. It was definitely a strange thing to think about, was that I didn't think in like a very humanistic way, which is very odd. And this was during the time when once I started to go to therapy. Of course, I had prescriptions and I was taking anxiety medication and depression. I know for depression it's Zoloft. I forgot is it the serotonin? I don't remember the exact name for anxiety, but those are the medications that I was taking, and I was having up and down with the symptoms. For every person it's different. There's the symptoms that I had. I was constantly snacking a lot, so my weight was pretty much fluctuating, like up and down. And maybe I'll include some pictures, I don't know if I decide to, but if I do, cool. I was just constantly going to the kitchen, like wanting to eat, which is completely normal when it comes to like taking the medication. That's one of the symptoms that you're gonna have. And then you're either gonna lose your appetite or want to just keep on eating. And I think I had like a mix of both. This is of course in the span of a few months. It's not like in a day. Like I don't want to scare you, but there were some nights where I had trouble sleeping. I couldn't sleep sometimes, and then my energy was low sometimes. Like sometimes I had like the feeling of numbness, which is why you have to talk to your psychiatrist whenever you have changes of symptoms while taking your medications, so they can measure and know how much they need to give you and then adjust the certain level of medication. That's why it's very important to keep in contact with them. When it came to therapy, I basically learned how to recognize my own thoughts, like all the negative thoughts, and also some positive things that I did. Thought stopping, like if you have like a very negative thought popping up, like you know when to stop that pattern. I did affirmations for a while too, and I know some people already do this, which is a good thing. It's to have those statements to ensure yourself like, I'm trying my best, or like, I am lovable. And then this was a tough one for me. Whenever I would, before going to therapy, I never knew how to take breaks for myself. I was always, like I said earlier, focused on academics, meaning I didn't give myself me time. Like, I didn't give myself time to like relax and do things I wanted within a day, because I was always stressed all the time and about my workload, and I was always studying or working on homework, and I never gave myself breaks, and that led me to not so good things. So definitely had to learn how to take breaks. Also, getting myself into a routine. I stopped drinking as much coffee as I used to. I used to take in a lot of caffeine, a lot of soda. I slowly started to cut that out. I didn't cut it out completely, but just not to the extent that I used to drink it all the time. And then also thought reframing. There are certain situations where I would do something as simple as like listening to certain music, and then that music would cause me to have negative thoughts, and instead of thinking that, I would kind of switch up the thought and then have myself think differently than the negative thought. Basically turning like the negative to a positive, or like the negative to like a neutral, so I don't keep continuing and consuming the cycle of negativity. And then thought realization, like what thoughts affect me the most. And I guess like to some people it would be like triggers, have very sad emotions or angry. I think one of the most important things I learned is to just like, whenever I feel sad, I just don't go on social media. Like, that's just like, whenever I felt sad, and if I go to social media, it just ends up not helping at all. So that, if you're gonna take anything from this, I would say that is definitely a must. Obviously there's certain things that you might do that it doesn't work for everyone, so you have to see what works for you and what helps you out the most. One thing that I really need to work on actually, there's two things I still need to work on. I need to work on socializing more. It's just not sometimes I just don't feel like, or I just have like the tendency to like work stuff out on my own. I'd rather not contact anyone else, but I just, sometimes it's not helpful to like be out by yourself isolated, so I need to work on that. And then also I need to work on having my physical activity, like working out. I think that one is pretty much everyone's goal, to be honest. I mean, now that the gyms are closed, it's kind of rough. It's just really tough because like I just don't want to work out. I either forget, or I just don't want to, or just feel lazy. I hope I said everything. I think one of the things that actually helped me out was to remain open-minded, because before I was just stuck on ideas that I had for a very long time, and it was tough to let go, but I had to do it because it wasn't helping me out. I had to make changes. You have to be open to make changes. I had a lot of mood swings months after I started taking the medication, but now after a year and a half, it's pretty stable. Some days were continuous, some days were like, one day I felt sad, another day was happy, and it's just like on and off. And then now, of course, like after I took therapy, like recognize what you can do to manage your thoughts and manage your life better. It's not to say that like, oh, I'm completely cured, like I have no symptoms at all. Like, that doesn't happen. Your mental health is overall at a good state. There's times where you might be sad, there's times where you might be not good, but this time you're gonna know what to do on those not so good days, or days that you don't feel okay. You have to be the one to implement positive changes in order to feel better about your health. and to be healthy. It definitely takes effort. It does, taking medications, doing your routine, socializing, reflecting. It's a whole process. It takes effort. But I think I'm here to tell you that it does work. I remember when I felt really, really depressed. Like now, I know that it's temporary, but in the moment, it doesn't feel temporary. It literally feels like forever. Like, oh, I'm always gonna feel like this. Like, it's never gonna go away. But trust me, it is just a temporary moment in your life, and things can change. I'm pretty grateful. I really didn't know that I could live happier than what I was previously. Like, I thought that anxiety and depression, like, that's who I am. How I identified myself, but I didn't really know the person that I was without my symptoms. But it doesn't really define who you are. It's something you battle with. Like, it's something that you have to deal with. It doesn't define who you are. And there's such a social stigma with mental illnesses and all that. I just wanted to make this video for people who've been through a lot, or maybe you're going through something right now and you needed some time to reflect. Honestly, there's like a very shocking statistic. Over 50% of the population right now are dealing with some sort of mental illness or mental disorder, but they don't know. They haven't been diagnosed yet. That was definitely more common than what is being portrayed by the media. Yeah, definitely take care of yourself. It's not only physical health, but it's also your mental health as well. What I realized is that once your mental health is off, like, it starts to wear you down physically. Like, it's connected. Mental and physical are connected. Take care of yourselves, guys. I appreciate you guys hearing me out. Thank you. Let me know anything you want to share, really, or any other topics that you guys want me to talk about. Yeah, I can't wait to respond to you guys. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in my next few videos. Bye, guys.